The Indiana Fever team picture kind of says it all. I mean, you can go count, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 players in the team picture. 16 players in the Indiana Fever team picture. So the Indiana Fever have 16 players in their team picture. 18 players suit up for them on the season altogether. Caitlin Clark, their best player, out for the majority of the year, only plays in 13 games. Now, unfortunately, ruled out for the remainder of the season. Sophie Cunningham, one of their standout players, out for the season. Ari McDonald, the pivotal pickup to back up Clark at point guard, out for the season. Duana Bonner, the marquee free agent, signed, plays 9 games, leaves for the Phoenix Mercury. Despite that, 5 season-ending injuries, other bits of adversity, the Indiana Fever have secured and clinched a playoff spot. No, it is not a WNBA championship, but given what the team and the squad has been through, it certainly is worth celebrating. That's the way I would look at it. That is how I look at it. Look, I mean, it is bittersweet in a sense, because like a lot of y'all, I was hoping Caitlin Clark would be back. Um, you know, having been ruled out already. I know it was painful, the whole like limbo aspect, but there is a part of me that's like, oh, the playoffs are still a ways away. And then if you win a round and, who knows how far you can extend that. But obviously, that decision was not made lightly. And the ankle, has been an issue for Caitlin Clark on top of, after having, had to work her way back from the groin. But the rest of the players have stepped up. And no matter who's been out there, I mean, Odyssey Sims and Aerial Powers have now become key players for the team, and they weren't even on the team up until recently. All these other Ari McDonald had come in, and various other players have come in. Chloe Bibby came in. She wasn't even an injury replacement, but when they had an extra roster spot, all these various signings throughout the year. Remember, Kyra Lambert was there for a cup of coffee at one point. And you get down the stretch of the season, you got players like Sims and Powers playing big minutes who weren't even a part of the first carousel and transition of players. Then, of course, you have the core players who have just been excellent. I mean, Kelsey Mitchell has been brilliant all season long. Aaliyah Boston's had the best season of her career. Lexi Hull, Natasha Howard has stepped up of late and certainly played well. So there's a lot of praise to go around. And also I'll give some to the head coach, Stephanie White, because when a team doesn't play with the effort that fans want and expect, the blame always goes on the coach. So when you have a revolving door of players and a superstar sidelined, and the team still finishes with its first winning record since 2015. By the way, Stephanie White was the coach of the Fever back then too. The coach gets credit. I'm sorry. There's no other spin way to put it. And that's why Stephanie White, I think Natalie Nakase is basically a shoo-in probably for Coach of the Year at this point. But in that next tier and next category, Stephanie White is right there. And here was Aaliyah Boston after the game, who, again, AB has taken a leap this year.
Yeah, I think, just being someone in this locker room, you never doubt yourself and what you're capable of, no matter what happens. I think the entire staff, up to the head, just made great decisions when people went down on who to bring in, the type of people to bring in. And that was really our mindset. We never doubted ourselves. We never doubted that we could be in the playoffs. Even if things looked like it got harder, for us, it was about sticking together. And I think through everything, you're able to see that, us play with joy, us play together, regardless of who's on that floor.
So, the Fever are locked into at least the 7th seed now, which right now would be the Las Vegas Aces in the first round. If things held the way they are, things can still shake up a little bit because the Valkyries are ahead of the Fever, but it's possible for the Fever, I believe, to pass the Valkyries for 6th. No, it's Atlanta, I'm sorry, in the 2 seed at this moment, with the Aces a half game behind them in the 3rd seed. So it's hard to exactly know who the Fever will play, but Atlanta or Las Vegas looks most likely from a seeding standpoint. And, you give them in a short series, do they have a chance? Perhaps. You can't totally rule it out. There'll be heavy underdogs. Don't get me wrong. I'm not predicting them to win, but you can't totally count out a team that hasn't counted itself out. Kelsey Mitchell is so fast end to end, by the way. just want to show appreciation for that. She good baby hook there from Natasha Howard. There's Odyssey Sims, like I mentioned, who just came to the team a few weeks ago. Howard getting back in the action. A lot of players in double figures for this one. Lexi Hull, kind of that glue player. Shea Petty with the 3. She's played pretty well in her minutes. Another player that just came in. There's Powers. She's got energy. Sims finds Hull. Spot up shot. Lexi's good at that catch and shoot. I mean, it's a team you got to root for. It's hard to. I called this season exhausting when Clark was ruled out, and I mean it. Like, even as somebody who's covering it, certainly for the fans, it must be exhausting for the players. Imagine how exhausting that entire ordeal is. But they're still standing. They're still standing, and you got to give them credit. Not even coming down to the final game of the season. Not even the 8th seed. 3 games over 500, despite it all. And I say that as somebody who, I'm bummed about Clark because of how good I know Clark is. And what the ceiling of this team could be. Imagine if Sophie and Caitlin were available for the playoffs, even with some of the other stuff that had gone down in the midst of it. So you get that what could have been feeling. And you also get that what was lost feeling. People waited a long time for Caitlin Clark's second season in the WNBA, and now who knows when she's going to take the court again. Could be, next spring if she doesn't play off-season basketball. But the Fever season continued. Like, so to make it through all that is a testament to, everybody on that squad, everybody in the locker room, the culture that they've built, and again, the head coach and the coaching staff, and then the stars. Kelsey Mitchell, first team all WNBA. Shouldn't really be in doubt. Aaliyah Boston playing better than she's ever played and taking more playmaking on her plate. I keep referencing Lexi Hull as the glue player, but she's really the only player that's consistently been out there that can swing, guard multiple players, shoot the 3, get to loose balls, all that sort of stuff. But up and down the lineup, the Fever deserve their flowers. The players deserve their flowers. They deserve credit. And their season continues. They're like the Walking Dead or something. They keep coming. This is the Indiana Fever. Shout out to Lexi's black eyes and bloody lip and all that, but you get the point. Or we can reference the team photo.